I define a winning coma as a period of time a sports team is consistently terrible, but there's a brief moment of time when they are good. That's what the 49ers had in the first 3 years being coached by Jim Harbaugh. After losing another NFC title game in 2013, this time to their bitter rivals the Seattle Seahawks, the team would revert to mediocrity. In 2014, the Niners had a decent first half going into the bye week at 4-3. It wasn't until the end of the season the team went off the rails, losing 4 of their last 5 games and finishing the season with an 8-8 record. The defense was starting to figure out Colin Kaepernick. Also, it didn't help that some key players were injured for most or all of the year. Many of the damaged were running backs and receivers. No wonder why Cap got sacked a lot. He didn't have much to work with. The injured list included Patrick Willis, who would retire after the season. Jim Harbaugh was fired and the Niners had to start all over again. So they decide on Jim Tomsula to be their head coach. Again. Because winning the final game in 2010 was all the more reason to give him another shot, right? In 2015, the team got worse. They were beaten to hell and back. What is it with the knee injuries over the past 2 seasons? Could they not have a sturdy field in that new stadium they play in? Kaepernick missed the latter half due to his shoulder hurting. But did it matter? He was getting worse and got benched for Blaine Gabbert, who was just as bad. The team finished a forgettable 5-11. They lost to the Lions and the Browns. That's how bad they were. Mr. Tomsula, here are your walking papers. 2016 was the year the 49ers hit rock bottom. Their new coach was Chip Kelly. You know, there are coaches that thrive in college that don't belong in the NFL. Kelly was one of those guys. Also, you had a quarterback controversy, but this conundrum wouldn't be settled in training camp. Kaepernick would sit on his ass during the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner during a preseason game. I guess people got pissed about it. Now, years later, I've gotten over it. But at that moment in 2016, Kaepernick's pseudo-intellectual reasoning for why he was kneeling for the national anthem in protest inspired me to do my own protest. I shouted it from the social media rooftops. I wasn't going to support this crappy team while Cap was still playing for them. I had a free season of NFL Sunday Ticket as part of a mover special from DirecTV when I had a change of address during that summer. I would be rooting for my sister's favorite team, the Houston Texans. Why not? I had a J.J. Watt jersey, and they were a decent team. On the first 5 games of the season with Gabbert as the quarterback, the Niners still sucked at 1-4. Then, they decided to make the call. Colin Kaepernick was picked to be the starter for the rest of the season. That was when I turned my back on the team I rooted for since 1990. I wanted this team to tank. I wanted this team to fail miserably, and I wanted Kaepernick to play his way off the team. He had no problem doing that. 1-10 with Cap as the starter, his lone win being in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve. I'll come to his defense on his poor record. It wasn't all his fault. The defense was downright atrocious, but it made me glad not to suffer through their worst season since 2004. I actually loved watching Cap get sacked 37 times and get stuffed at the goal line in Miami. That'll teach him to praise Fidel Castro. So, the Kelly experiment failed. Kaepernick opted out of his contract, making him a free agent. As of this video, he still isn't playing for any league. You know, Cap, Ricky Williams went to Canada for a year after the NFL tossed him aside. The NFL welcomed him back with open arms, but you keep playing that victim card, bro. Well, my gold-blooded brethren, the prodigal fan has returned, and...
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make a statement because you're pissed at the Orange Man? You know what? Screw this league. I'll find other things to watch for the 2017 season. Baseball, NASCAR, soccer, college football. Shoot, I'll even watch candlepin bowling on YouTube as I prepare to get my gastric bypass surgery. Good thing I found other things to watch because what a mess this team was. The Niners hired another coach, some offensive coordinator who failed up the day after being part of the biggest choke in Super Bowl history. Their quarterback situation was a mess. CJ Beathard and Brian Hoyer weren't getting it done. The team won their first game in November. Then the 49ers would trot out another quarterback, one they got in a trade from the defending Super Bowl champions on Halloween, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G did very well at the end of the 2017 season, going 5-1. The Niners finished 6-10, still lousy, but better than the previous year. 2018, they were terrible again, but it wasn't all their fault. Half the team was banged up, including the crushing blow, losing Garoppolo after the third game due to a knee injury. I made a meme that summed up the 49ers season perfectly. The Niners finished 4-12. Shanahan didn't get fired, but they did get a much-needed lineman in Nick Bosa at the draft. Also, they drafted this wide receiver in the second round. I got a jersey with his name on it for Christmas. Are we all caught up? Good. My mission for this team in 2019? Win more games than last year. I would be fine with another 6-10 season. Just get better. They got better all right. Going into the bye week, they were a pristine 8-0. Half of those wins, they were repeatedly punching weaklings in the face. The second half of the season, nothing came easy for the Niners. In fact, they lost a few games. After the bye week, they lost a tough one to the Seahawks in overtime. I wasn't shocked, just crushed. A last-second loss to the Ravens, but that wasn't surprising either. Justin Tucker has quite the reputation for the kicking dramatics, and Lamar Jackson was soaring in his second season in the league. After a game for the ages in New Orleans, they would drop their third game to the Falcons. What the hell are you doing losing to those guys? Reenactment reaction.
How you guys played was completely unacceptable. How in the hell can you lose to the Falcons like that? Guess what? You keep playing like this, you're not going to the Super Bowl. Not this year. Gosh, get it together.
The Niners won with a walk-off field goal against the Rams in Week 16 to set up a Week 17 showdown on Sunday Night Football in Seattle for the NFC West and other things. While the Seahawks tried to stage a comeback, it fell short near the end as Dre Greenlaw stuffed Jacob Hollister at the goal line with 12 seconds left in the game.
And Terry, the play would be whistled dead?
Yes, he's down by contact.
Right.
It's a catch, down by contact, short of the goal line, game over.
Right.
After review, completed pass receiver was down short of the goal line. San Francisco will take over on down, first down.
The Niners had to win that game. If they didn't, the Seahawks would have won the NFC West on the head-to-head tiebreakers. The 49ers finished the season 13-3. So did the Packers, and so did the Saints. Since the Niners beat both of them, guess who had the number 1 seed? That's right. One bye week later, the quest would begin. The Minnesota Vikings stunned the Saints in the wild card round and were the first to come to Levi Stadium. It was a close game at the half, but the Niners hung 13 second-half points on the Vikes. You like that? Tevin Coleman would run for 2 touchdowns. You like that?
Cousins under pressure.
Oh, and Kirk Cousins got sacked by that defense 6 times. You like that? Well, do ya? With the Vikings swept aside, the Niners were back in the NFC title game for the first time since 2013. They would face a familiar playoff foe whose number they've had in the last 2 playoff meetings, the Green Bay Packers. Would the Pack avenge their humiliating loss they suffered in the same venue on November 24th? Not a chance. Running back Raheem Mostert found the end zone 3 times as the Niners jumped to a 27-0 advantage at the half. Sure, the Packers got some points on the board, but who cares? Another year the Packers got eliminated by the 49ers in the playoffs. There was a historical coincidence I noticed going into this game. It had something to do with the 1997 season. I'll let someone who watched the game point it out. After 7 long, arduous years, the 49ers were back in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan was back, Jimmy G was back, and this time he would be on the field. They would face a team that had waited a long time to get back to the big game. The Kansas City Chiefs not only won their last championship at Super Bowl IV, but it was the last time they'd been to a Super Bowl. A notable coach was looking to win his first ring, Andy Reid. They had a young up-and-coming quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. The stadium in Miami may have a different look and another different name, but it was the same stadium the 49ers won Super Bowl 23 and 29. Would they get the hat trick at Hard Rock Stadium? or would the Chiefs end their long drought?
Robbie Gould from 38.
The Niners jumped to a 3-0 lead after a field goal by Robbie Gould.
The game belonged to the 49ers.
Before the first quarter ended, Mahomes sneaked the ball in the end zone to give KC the lead.
For the touchdown.
The Chiefs added 3 more in the second quarter after a Harrison Butker field goal.
For Dustin Colquitt.
Then the Niners would tie it up as Garoppolo passed to Kyle Juszczyk, and that's how the half ended.
Touchdown.
In the third quarter, the Niners would take over. Gould would kick another field goal to give them the lead again. With less than 3 minutes left in the third, Mostert would find the end zone to put the Niners up by 10.
He is in for the touchdown.
In that fourth quarter, the Niners looked to put the Chiefs away after Devarius Moore picked off a Mahomes pass.
By the 49ers. Off the arm of Tyreek Hill and into the arms of Tarvarius Moore. Garoppolo keeps pass is caught on a...
Despite a nice gain by George Kittle, they punted. On the Chiefs' next drive, they would get within 3 on a Mahomes pass to Kelsey.
Kelsey, Chiefs are back in it.
Again, the 49ers failed to finish off Kansas City. More short runs by Mostert that didn't do anything, along with more incomplete passes by Garoppolo. Kansas City took over. Mahomes couldn't do wrong. 4 consecutive complete passes, running 6 yards himself, and capping the drive with a pass to Damian Williams to take the lead.
Mahomes throws, pass, caught, Williams, touchdown! Kansas City jumps on top.
The Niners would try to get back the lead on the next drive, but after they got to the Chiefs' side of the field, they stalled out. 3 consecutive incomplete passes, and then Jimmy G got buried by Frank Clark for a turnover on downs. With decent field position and less than 2 minutes left, Williams ran 38 yards for another KC touchdown.
Into the end zone for the touchdown! No flags!
That was 21 unanswered points, and the Chiefs were up by 11. It was over. On the next Niners drive, the loss would be sealed as Garoppolo threw a pick to Kendall Fuller.
Have not been able to taste this moment. This is picked. Kendall Fuller up to get it.
I know the pain Atlanta Falcons fans felt after Super Bowl 51. It wasn't epic meltdown level, but it sure felt that way. I don't care if the Chiefs ended 50 years of heartache. This one still hurts badly. To have your team within minutes of ending a long drought only to see the wheels come off in a short amount of time truly pisses me off and left a bad taste in my mouth. Maybe the Niners shouldn't have flexed after Moore came up with that pick in the fourth quarter. I'm not even going to blame the refs on this one either. The Niners offense did jack spit in the fourth quarter. The Niners defense wondered how they were going to flex next and got shredded by Mahomes and Williams in the fourth, and that's why they lost. Instead of dancing in my living room to Him for the Weekend again, I was in my recliner with Fixed You going through my ears and my spirit completely decimated. In the topsy-turvy 2020 season, they once again became the injury ward they were in 2018 and finished 6-10. Yep, they blew this one, and that's why this was way higher on the pain scale than Super Bowl 47. One more story to go. Me being an ardent Sharks fan, you could probably guess what it's going to be.